Spring officially begins later this evening, so it's time once again to welcome back our resident astronomer, Dr. Chris Palma from the Penn State Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics, for one of his quarterly visits to the show. Chris, I see you're all decked out, letting folks know what we're going to talk about right off the top.
Yep.
Very nice. Eclipse glasses. We'll get back to them in a
Absolutely.
moment, but we are less than 3 weeks away from the total solar eclipse. It will be visible in totality from extreme northwestern Pennsylvania, weather permitting. Of course, cities such as Erie, Edinburgh, Meadville, quite a treat coming up. Tell us how this will unfold on Monday, April 8th. The timing here in PA and what people will see.
Yeah. So this is really going to be spectacular, and so I'm hoping for clear skies as well. The entirety takes hours, right? So we need the moon to pass in front of the sun. So here in State College, around 5 after 2:04 p.m., the moon will just start to appear to pass in front of the sun. It will take an hour and a half. So roughly 3:15 to 3:20 is when the moon is at what we refer to as maximum eclipse, where it's covering as much of the sun as possible. And then for the next hour, the moon will slowly move away. So the total time for the eclipse is more than an hour, from 2:04 to about 4:20, and the moment of maximum eclipse is around 3:20 p.m.
Right, but in State College, in central Pennsylvania, it will not be totality. If you want to see the moon completely covering the sun, you need to go to extreme northwestern Pennsylvania. What about safely viewing it? What do folks need to know?
So that's why I came with my eclipse glasses. And so if people remember, in 2017, these were a little bit hard to come by, but this year, everyone is prepared. I've been talking to folks in Erie. They've been giving out thousands of them. We've been giving out thousands of them. Just about every school child in the nearby area has a pair waiting for them at school. We're going to be giving thousands of them out the day of. So they're pretty simple, but the lenses in these glasses will reject so much sunlight. I've tested them out already. I've gone outside, put them on, and just looked up at the sun, and it's perfectly comfortable.
Okay. So when the moon is not completely covering the sun, you have to use those. But what about those folks who will be in totality for a couple minutes, say in Erie or Corey in northwestern PA? Can you remove the glasses at that time?
Yes, just at that time. So if any of the sun appears visible, you do need to wear these. But once totality begins, and for the few minutes that totality lasts, it is safe to take the glasses off and look directly at the sun. But remember that the moon will then start to move off of the sun, and as soon as that happens, they have to go back on.
And it's a fairly short amount of time for those who will be in totality. It's just a couple minutes, right?
Yep. Okay. It does depend on where you are, but roughly 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay. So the folks in Pennsylvania who are not in the path of totality will still have more than 90% of the sun covered by the moon. That sounds like a lot. I mean, what's the difference between that and totality?
Well, if people remember 2017, in 2017 in State College, we had about a 70% eclipse. So 95% is going to be a real treat. Like the sky will noticeably darken at 3:15 p.m. It will be like twilight conditions. You will not see, though, that total eclipse. And so the difference is that the total eclipse, you can, for a few moments, see the atmosphere of the sun. We won't be able to see much of that here, but you'll still see a spectacular view of the eclipsed sun from State College.
So are you allowed to tell us what's your plan for April 8th?
Sure. Actually, I've been saying this for the last 7 years. I was here in State College and handing out glasses in 2017. So this time I'm planning to go join our friends at Penn State's Erie campus, the Barron College. One of my friends is sort of the master of ceremonies. He's going to be giving a presentation to all the school children in their basketball arena. And so I just plan to be in Erie. Some of our astronomy club students are going to be there, and I'm going to be as helpful as I can with the large crowds that they're expecting.
Yeah, and again, this all comes back to the weather. If the weather does not cooperate, if it's a cloudy day, or if just clouds bubble up in the afternoon, and during that time, they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. And I got to believe there's going to be some traffic.
Oh, yeah. So I've been paying attention to all the articles being written, and that's the thing I'm nervous about is Erie has been expecting somewhere around 250,000 people to descend on Erie. And I've actually seen some of the locations in Texas. One of their counties made a disaster declaration.
I saw that as well.
Yeah, and it's just, so not that we expect awful situations, but I think people traveling to the path of totality should expect traffic, should expect it to be a challenge to park. The good news, though, is honestly, all you have to be is anywhere where you can see the sky and see the sun.
Right.
And so the nice thing is, if you can just pull over and find a parking spot, you don't have to go somewhere special to see the eclipse.
Okay. We don't have much time left, but I know you wanted to comment on some recent research news from your department simply because you were involved in that work in the past.
A long time ago. I do appreciate, we always get to take a chance to talk about Penn State astronomy. And we've talked a lot about how we're trying to understand the early universe. And one of the things we really want to know is both how do stars form, how many stars form, when, where, and what happens to them. And so there's been some fun research that looks at new clusters of stars that have been forming, but they could be short-lived. We don't know what happens to them after they form. So we have some really interesting new results on that question.
Looking at the process of star formation. Yeah. Dr. Chris Palma from the Penn State Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics. Always good to see you, Chris.
Thanks.
And we'll be back in a moment with more.